I can read your mind. I know exactly what you're thinking.
Uh-huh, sure, babe.
I know what you're gonna do before you even do it.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Gross, he pooped.
Did you see that one coming?
Hey there, I have the mind from Pandasaurus games on the table here. Let me go over this game with you guys real quick. This is a very small card game in which on the surface may not seem like there's much to it and that it's very simple and there cannot be much of a game to it. But don't be duped. This game is intense. Essentially what you are going to be doing, you are going to be working through this deck of 100 cards, numbered 1 to 100. And you and your teammates at the table have to play the cards that you are dealt in your hand in numerical order from lowest to greatest. Sounds easy, right? Well, not so much. In level 1, each person is dealt 1 card. And you play those cards again in numerical order from lowest to greatest. So I look at my card and I have a 9 here, which 9 is relatively pretty low in a deck of 100 cards. So I would be very confident to be able to play that 9. Then my opponents would hopefully not have, or not my opponents, my teammates. This is a cooperative game. My teammates would hopefully not have any cards lower than the card that I just played, and whatever card came next in that round would be played next. So in a 2-player game, there would only be 2 cards, and 9 is definitely lower than 94, and we would have passed that round. Now, when you pass a level, you remove the top level card, and you go on to the next level. Now, here's the catch in this game. You can't communicate. There is no communication in this game. No verbal communication. You can't make hand signals or gestures of any kind. The only thing that you have to go off of is body language. And so, for instance, in this particular case, 9 and 94, let's say those are the 2 cards that were just dealt. Me, if I had the 94 card, I would not even be looking at my card. I would maybe be looking up at the ceiling, staring in the different direction to indicate my card is really high and I'm not going to be playing it anytime soon. So everybody else go, and when it gets towards higher numbers, then I might be picking my card up, looking at the other players, slowly moving out to the front in the middle of the table where you're going to play it. That's kind of how that works. Now, to help you along the way, you do have a number of lives that you are given. That's dependent upon the number of players in the game. And you spend lives whenever you have made a mistake. And so if somebody plays a card out of turn, if they play a 94 when someone else at the table had a 93, let's say, then you have lost a life. And you remove the life from the game, and anybody who had any cards lower than the card that was just played will then put those cards in the middle, and then the round would continue. Once you run out of lives, it's game over. And you are trying to get all the way, depending on the number of players, all the way to level 12. And again, the number of cards you are dealt is the same as the level that you're at. So as you can imagine, level 12, everybody receiving 12 cards, that can be pretty intense. You also have one other thing to help you along the way, and that's these throwing stars. Now, what the throwing stars do is, if everybody at the table agrees, you can spend a throwing star and everybody discards the lowest card they have left in hand. And that's something that you might do if you sort of feel like you're at a deadlock and somebody, you have card number 55 and the person across from you has card number 52 and the other person has card number 56 and everybody's just staring at each other and you're not sure who's got the lowest card to play and you don't want to risk losing a life, so then you all agree to play the throwing star and everybody gets to remove the lowest card they have in hand. Now, certain levels allow you to earn benefits. So on level 2, you would earn another throwing star, and other levels allow you to earn lives back. And again, you just have to make sure to get all the way through all the levels without losing your last life. And if you can complete your last level, again, depending upon the number of players in the game, that might be anywhere from levels 8 through 12. And if you complete the last level that you are assigned to do, then you have won and you guys have the mind. All right, so here's Sam and I doing a 2-player playthrough of the mind. And we're going to share our thoughts on this game. Sam, what do you think of the mind?
I like it. It's definitely different. I was just telling Lance I can't really imagine playing it with more than one other person. It can be up to a 4-player game, and I feel like that would be very challenging, but in a good way. It would just be a lot more challenging than I would expect.
This is kind of a game that's not so much a game as it is a social experience with other people at the table. And that may be one of the knocks against it, is because it's so simple that it's not a game. Although it is a game, you win or you lose.
There's no strategy.
There's not a lot of strategy with this. It is just reading each other's body language, trying to get into their minds, figuring out who has what card and how quickly you should play your card. But I want to tell you guys, I think this game is a blast. This is a game that I feel like can be played with anyone who has eyes, anyway.
Yeah, and knows their numbers.
And knows their numbers, sure. This is a game that I feel like I could sit down and play with my 90-year-old grandmother, and she would get it.
Yeah, there's no explaining.
There's really not. And this is a game that once you've done it, once you've played it, I don't see how people would just be like, okay, I never want to do that again.
Oh, yeah. Like, as soon as we were done the first time, I was like, I want to try this again.
Yeah. It gives you that feeling of, no, we can do this. Like, let's team up. Let's work together. Let's conquer the mind and see if we can't beat it. It's almost like a video game.
It is cooperative.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a video game experience of leveling up and wanting to do better than you did the time before. Now, real quick, I do want to say in a previous video, we talked about the mind, and that was when we did the video on The Crew, Quest for Planet 9. And in that video, we said that we felt like the mind was a better game to play with non-gamers, because in The Crew, there were several moments where you could play the wrong card at the wrong time and have an, oh crud, I'm an idiot type of experience. And while you can still have that in the mind, it's not your fault necessarily. I mean, that's the obstacle of the game. That is, what everyone is trying to do, and it happens, and it's expected, and it's okay in this. And I don't know about you, Sam, but I feel like this is the game to play with non-gamers when it comes to that timing and playing your cards at the right time experience. What do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely think that maybe The Crew would be a good, level up for something like this. Mm-hmm. But this is the place to start.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. So Sam, let me ask you the question now. Is this a game that you would take off the shelf and play with your grandparents, your parents, somebody who's not a gamer, doesn't really get into games? Is this the kind of thing that you would reach for and play with them with?
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot of fun. It's simple, very simple components. It's just a deck of cards. So I think anybody could understand this and play well.
Is it one that you think that they're going to have a good time with?
I think so. When we first started this, I definitely think I'm better at reading the body language than giving the body language. So I think it just kind of depends on their comfort level. You kind of have to, the first couple rounds, you're just trying to figure out how it all works.
Yeah.
And how each person's going to respond to their cards. But yeah, for sure. I think I would love to play with anybody.
Now, you raised something there that I think we should touch on real quick, and that is you're going to have different experiences with the people that you play this with.
Yeah.
And that can be either challenging or less challenging given how animated the people you play with are, how well they pick up on your body language. And so that is going to affect your experience with this game. But that's one of the things I like about this game, is that each time I bring it to the table, I'm going to have a unique experience because I'm playing with different people.
Yeah.
And that's something to be said about this game. I think that's a good quality about it. Okay, let's get into our rankings for this game. I'm going to go first. And guys, I really, really like this game. This is one that I'm going to be taking with me and playing with new people any chance I get. And because of that, I give this game a 7.9. I really like this game. It's one that's going to be staying in my collection for quite some time. What about you, Sam?
I was going to say a solid 8.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're right there with me then.
Yeah,
We're right in the same ballpark. Why do you give it an 8?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's easy to understand. I think you could play with a very wide variety of people. I mean, it's not your typical board game. So I think there could be something lacking for those real board game enthusiasts, but it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. It's like you said, it's a step away from what you would expect a gaming session to be like, because again, as we've already said, this is more like a social experiment.
Yeah. You give me this game and Knock Knock and you're going to have a fun night.
So you're referring back to another one of our previous videos, which you guys should check Knock Knock out as well. All right, so there you have it. If you like this game, check out the link in the description of the video to purchase it. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. We are Love to Hate.